Finance can be messy, but don't worry. We clean it up with facts, fun, and maybe a little sarcasm. Welcome to the Financial Sandbox. Let's get into it. Today, my guest is Jasper Smith. Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing good, Herb. Good to be here, man. It's a good day. Excited to be a part of this experience. So,
Well, I'm really excited to interview you. So we're going to just get right into it. I want to do a quick intro.
okay.
Like, what do you do in plain English? And like in plain English, for people meeting you for the first time, if you had to just kind of give them that elevator speech, what is it? What's the elevator pitch?
Yeah, I'm Jasper Smith. I'm a financial planner. That may or may not mean much to you, but my job is pretty simple. I help put people in the best position to succeed financially.
Nice. I'm going to focus on your build wealth profile. And I really want you to take me back. What did you see in the world? I think you were still at Northwestern, right? And when you started Build Wealth, or were you leaving it? What was the impetus that said, I have to build this brand?
Yeah, I was. Oh, I know. I was in transition. I was. Yeah, I was.
I thought so.
You know, when you're in transition, you have a lot of time to think, and the experiences I was having in the financial services industry was bothering me, like to the core, where almost I said, I'm pretty much done with the industry. I will go do something else when I figure it out. The build wealth movement is what I figured out. I just got to have something that I can maintain control over at all times, because working at different financial institutions, it's, you're working for them and your clients are there. Like, you don't really have that ownership.
Yeah.
And I needed something that could always be true to me, because my clients are buying me.
Mm-hmm.
Firm you represent is pretty far down on the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're buying me. And I said, what is Jasper? Jasper had nothing at the time. So again, being in transition, I got time to think, what would I do? And I said, I'm going to try my best to help people get comfortable talking about money. That's how it started.
So did this was it a movement? I mean, when you say the Build Wealth movement, what does the movement mean to you? What does Build Wealth mean to you?
Yeah, for me, it's I'm building something that is very, very challenging to ruin. Like, when you think of wealth and you think of legacy, like a plan went into place first off. And even if you have some hiccups in life, the wealth remains, because the plan was structured so well that even if you think you're going to mess it up, Herb, we got something to protect you against that. And if you look at wealthy families, they've gone through a lot of issues. They've gone through ups and downs in the market, whatever sector you were in. So there was this, for me, when you're building it, it's like the house, right? Like, where's the foundation?
Right.
So let's start there, right? If you're building a house, you got to have the foundation before you do anything else. I don't care how large or small the house is. And I just kept realizing people don't have a foundation. People can't even talk about money, Herb.
Yeah.
Like, they're that afraid. It's still this taboo subject. And I'm like, come on, yo, we can talk about all this other stuff, but we can't talk about money.
Yeah.
There's your problem right there. And wealthy people talk about money every single day.
Yeah.
The real ones, the ones who have, commas in their bank accounts and investment accounts. It's not an uncomfortable conversation to discuss financial matters, but for the overall, like, majority of people, it's a tough subject to bring up.
Right. Right. And so how do you decide what group you could help most? I mean, a lot of people talk about money, but you seem to get people on board to a plan with, you charge a nominal fee to get people to be aligned. What do you do differently to get them to buy into your strategy? And I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
I'm glad you said this, because I'm glad, because working at a large financial institution or just a company that's not your own, you sometimes can't be your authentic self, and people have used that. I mean, I'm past the whole being your authentic you, because that wasn't a thing back when I started, and I had to act like the company wanted me to act. I was trained to sell certain products and solutions, and I came off as just, Jasper's a real hard-nosed sales guy. And I had people say that to my face, like, hey, man, I don't need what you're selling today. And I was like, cool, forget you. There's millions of other people who need what I'm offering. That's another whole story, man. So I needed something of my own to build wealth movement. So I could be, here's Jasper. And here's why I'm doing this. I am a young African American in America. People who look like me or a complexion of me just haven't had a good go at it from a financial standpoint. And I could go down this whole rabbit hole of like financial institution and racism and all that. Forget all that. My people can't talk about money. And that's where it kind of started, where I'm like, if I'm playing this character of an advisor in a meeting, and I used to wear like a suit and tie every day, like I look the part, and I'm like, I look so stuffy, and it came off I wasn't comfortable.
Right.
I became more comfortable in a meeting, and I've said some things I'm like, maybe not politically correct, not on brand for the company, but it was my truth. And when somebody would say something, I would say, you know what? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And you know what? The first time I did it, Herb, that person was a prospective client. They became a client. They laughed.
Right.
Like the first time I dropped the F-bomb, because it was needed. Like I was like, what the are you doing? and again, I don't do it all the time, but that was, if I was talking to my boys and my homegirls and my family, like that's how I would talk to them. I had to start bringing elements of those into my meetings. And when people started to see me as the person, that's when it started to click. And I was like, okay, that was a good experience for the client or prospective client. I felt like I was being my authentic self. And I also, Herb, and this is one of the things that I'm sure you're probably aware of now, I had to start telling people why I do what I do.
Yeah.
They just assumed I was there to sell. I'm like, look, I care about this because I have a cousin just like you. I have an auntie just like you. I have an uncle. Like I have an actual person who reminds me of you, who I would love to help. Like that's why I'm doing it. And I've listened to my family's struggles and successes with money. And I said, man, if I can just help people get going in the right direction, again, to put you in the best position. I didn't say a good position. What's the best position you can be in so you can succeed? I'm gonna be all right. I got a plan. But Herb, until I started saying that like out loud to people, I was a sales dude. Like, yeah, what you want me to sell today, Herb? Cool, I'm gonna sell those glasses. You know what? They're the greatest glasses. I mean, I would just go into this mode of that's not even how I act.
Right. So there's two things you bring up. As we both have similar levels of melanin in our skin, we approach and are approached in very specific ways. And I'm going to push ahead to a bunch of my questions that I have on my list here. Being a Black professional in a predominantly white field, and you're from North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
So that's a completely different world than where I grew up here in California, son of immigrants from Latin America. You coming from that part of the world. What are the challenges people rarely see? I mean, things you have to navigate and clients and colleagues that may not fully understand.
It starts upstairs with how you think about money and those emotions. And so one of my early goals and missions was I have to be able to change the way people think and feel about money. And that requires a level of, I'll say, you got to kind of treat it delicately because people are opening up as if I was their therapist. Like they're telling me stuff they've never told anybody. I mean, married couples, like you've never talked to your spouse or your mom, or like you telling me, cool. I'm not telling, this is just, the more you share, the better I can serve you. And I looked at like being from the South, like people tend to have families at a younger age. They get married earlier, have kids. And so moving to the Bay Area almost 20 years ago, people are just making money. Like family, whatever. I'm traveling the world, making all this money. I ain't thinking about settling down.
Yeah.
And so you have this dynamic of you got people young with money, not thinking about the family in the future, living the we call it the YOLO lifestyle. You only live once. I love it. But as much as I love YOLO, what if you make it to old age? And that was the conversation where if I'm home, people understood, like, I want to take care of my family. I have something to protect. I want to save. I want to invest. I want to get it right. I want to create a plan. But dealing with this younger, my fellow millennials in the Bay, and they're not thinking about family. They were just happy earning a nice paycheck and having a 401k and maybe getting some stock options.
Right.
And I was like, yo, is there anything else you want to do? Like, they weren't trying to buy property. They were just, literally working to pay a bill, to travel and have cool experiences. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
However,
I'm going to step back here.
Good.
I'm going to go back to my question, because when advisors work with clients of color, you as a Black man, Asian, Black, Latino, and others, what do you think is most commonly either misunderstood or overlooked? I mean, you look in the mirror, I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
How do you get there and talk about the Black experience? Yeah.
I think are you happy with where you are going at it alone? And I think a lot of people of color tend to not want to reach out to a professional of any sort, right? Financial, attorneys, bankers. I'll figure it out. And I was like, great. Where has that gotten you? And how much stress are you under?
How's that working?
Right. How much time are you wasting? You could have called me and I could have answered that in 5 minutes and pointed you in the best position, right? But it's this feeling of I have to do it by myself. Nobody's going to come help me, but you haven't told anybody you needed help. And that's the first step, right? So a lot of people of color from underserved communities, they'll never willingly, generally speaking, they willingly call me, Jasper, I need some help. It's usually we have an experience, typically bad, and now we want to try to do better. And I'm being, some people, they have multiple occurrences in their lives. You're like, that's bad, and that's bad, and that's bad, and you still didn't call nobody, and you're laughing because you have those clients. You're just like, how many lumps do you have to take? Like, I've been knocked down before too, but when I got up, I was like, all right, look, Jasper, you have screwed this up. Probably should get some help, like a professional. And that's when I would pick up the phone and start reaching out to people. And so I think from a financial perspective, because of we'll call it the system, people of color tend to not trust the system. So they keep going to all these other services and offerings and options to figure it out, which is the worst thing you can do.
So I'm in a shared experience I recently have with someone I know very well, and they're trying to buy a house. And you and I had a similar conversation like this recently. They've got about $30,000 in credit card debt, but they have a good amount of money to buy a house. And my response to them was, pay the credit card debt off today.
Yes.
You've got the cash, pay it off, because that's costing you $700 a month. And that $700 a month translates to X in a mortgage payment. And your lender is going to look at that debt as part of your whole portfolio and your whole ability to buy a house. So get rid of it. But that means I have to empty out X in my bank account. Yes, it does. And get it done. So this is real world outcomes.
Yep.
Give me an example of one of your clients that you've had that real world outcome. You've had that conversation. It started here. You had to make some hard details with that person, and maybe they walked away, but then came back.
I've had a lot walk away. This is a real story. Yeah. So this was a young lady. I met her years ago at a networking event. She brings up, I need to look into getting life insurance. I said, cool. I do life insurance investments. I do all the things, right?
Right.
So we had a conversation. She has, has kids, has properties. I knew about how much we did a real analysis, like how much do you need, right? We talked about term and permanent. I do the whole commercial. I said, great, it's going good. I don't hear from her for 4 years. It's a real story.
Gosh. Wow.
4. So last year was year number 4 when she sends an email. Hey, Jasper, good to hear. Need to talk to you about life insurance. And I was like, is this the same? So I go into my CRM. I'm like, oh my God, literally 4 years. Don't laugh, Herb. This is what happened. She said Malcolm Jamal Warner had a tragic accident last year.
Oh yeah, right.
And he was on vacation. He's no longer with us. Yeah. She said him dying was the reason she sent that email. Now, when I got the email, I was like, 4 years, it's a little weird. But of course, I'm going to ask, like, what happened? Hey, you thought of me after 4 years. I'm surprised you didn't buy it from somebody else. And she said, I saw Malcolm Jamal Warner just died on vacation. I think I need to get it together. I said, are you serious? She said, yeah, I just really started. I said, it took you 4. And I couldn't even hold it in. This is the it took you 4. She was like, I know. Don't. I said, yeah. I said, yeah.
You and I suffer from that same thing. I got an award a while back that said, speaks what he thinks, whether anyone wants to hear it or not.
Herb, I couldn't even hold it. Like we were just on. I was my heart, my gut, the whole body was. Jasper, you got to say it. It's that 4 years and a celebrity dying is why you. She said, I know that's bad. I said it's very bad because I always think about in my brain. I think about the alternatives. What if something would have happened? You'd have lost. Your kids would have to sell all. I think she had 3 or 4 property. They would have to sell everything because you didn't have some readily accessible cash through a life insurance payout to take care of all that stuff.
Or so a potential trust to protect it.
So, Herb, I swear to you, man, we laughed. I said, if you do this, I hope this goes through quickly. I need all of your info right now. Like, what has changed in 4 years? I know you older, so it's going to cost you more.
Right.
She could afford it. I mean, we got that policy done ASAP. And I said, that's what scares me about the people who say, I'm going to get back with you. I'm going to get back with you. It's not a good time. And that was an insurance story. But the same thing with investments when people say, I'm going to wait. Let's say I'm going to ride. Let's see what happens. And then the market goes one way or another. And it's like it's irrelevant because you missed it.
Right. But Jasper, this is about your passion for people. This is about your heart for your community, for the people who sit in front of you and have that conversation. This isn't about beating them up. This is really where your heart is. So tell me a little about, I mean, all of the, you wanted to beat her up verbally, but really in your heart, what was going on?
She got kids and grandkids. So I'm not going to say, the Build Wealth movement, I'm all about disrupting generational poverty. Like I trademarked that. And they're like, what does that mean? That means generations to come will not struggle because of the work you've done today. I forget who says it. It's a story about planting a tree that the person who plants the tree will not be alive to enjoy the shade that the tree cast.
Right.
It's the same dynamic of she had 3 or 4 properties, 3 or 4 kids. I just started thinking about the legacy of the children. So mom dies all of a sudden, or when it's time for her to go, has she thought about what their life would be like? Forget the financial stuff, just in terms of going through the grieving process, right? A lot of people who are underinsured, somebody dies on a Friday, you bury them on Saturday, they're back at work on Monday. You have not gone through the grieving cycle. You should not be at the job.
Right.
So for me, I think about everybody else you're impacting by not taking this step. Yeah. And I can't say that initially, but as soon as you tell me you have something you care about, I'm like, oh, yes, I care. But I also learned a lesson, Herb. It was, I can't care more than they do. That was hard. It's still hard.
Sure. Yeah.
Early in my career, why are you not buying this? What are you doing? And I would beat them up. And it's like, Jasper, it's not up to you to decide. In their minds and their heart, they have to be ready. And no matter how well you present, how many, opportunities you've explored with them, if they're not willing to make the decision, you got to move on. And Herb, that is hard when you look at the data around wealth and this wealth gap. And I look at it every year, the Federal Reserve, everybody does these. I just read them. I'm like, yep, man, there go black people at the bottom of this one, shouldn't be there. At the top of this one, shouldn't be there. And it's like, how do I help?
Right. It is the black and brown and Latino and Native and Asian and all these communities. I recently, I have an appointment with clients who bought a house about 4 months ago, and I seeing them this weekend. And one of the conversations I'm having with them is because they have a 2-year-old. Did you guys get the trust done?
Yes.
Right.
Yep. So,
what has that taught you, sort of being in this role, about credibility? And how is credibility? How is it earned? How is it assumed? And how are you tested for your credibility when you're working with some of these clients?
I think I've earned it from a time standpoint first. I mean, I haven't quit, and Lord knows I've tried. Like, I've literally tried to quit a lot. And I've had, mentors and people like yourself who are like, what you gonna do? Okay. So I think the fact that I've stuck it out, I've been very visible in terms of the community work that I do. So that my heart is in the right place. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the firm has changed, but Jasper has stayed true to his core. And what's funny about that, Herb, is I remember one of the first articles I wrote was for a person, one of my good friends. The article that I wrote is still applicable 20 years later. And I laughed. I said, I've been preaching this. Now, the message, I fine-tuned how I've refined the messaging, but the essence of who I am, and I showed somebody that they were like, man, I was like, my track record speaks for itself. I ain't famous, but if you see what I do, if I can tell you about these stories of clients, like, it's slowly over time built this level, like, that dude, I can trust him. I have a clean record. If you go to FINRA.org and search my name, clean record. I think that's important if you're dealing with investments.
Right.
I tell people that in an investment advisory conversation, it behooves you to at least go search the advisor you're going to work with. Not saying it's going to be the final straw in making the decision. I think it's just important if I'm managing some of your money. Do they have something in their record? Maybe it's not important. Maybe it is. But most people don't even think to check such a database. If you deal with my money, I need to know you're a stand-up guy or gal.
I had a very interesting situation similar a couple of years ago. One of my clients buying a house and calls me up. As you know, I have a blended professional life, including real estate. And the house was on the market, and he asked me to make a phone call. So the realtor, their number was disconnected. Their text message bounced. So what's the first thing I do? I check the Department of Real Estate to see, okay, is this person licensed?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
The license is expired.
Yeah.
So I called the owner of the property.
Yeah.
Right? And you go there and say, and we had a conversation. So, but you're right. You've got to check and make sure that the person you're working with is licensed and is professional and can do this. What's helped you build the confidence and sort of consistency, right? Because you're still here. You've tried to quit, but you keep doing it. When the room doesn't look like you, when the room isn't expecting you, how does that confidence show up to make you keep moving forward?
I take it as a challenge. And that's kind of how I started my career, where as soon as I got in right out of college, I was like, this is going to be different. and I would say, Herb, I've been fortunate enough to have like really good people around me who were honest about what it was if you're going to be in this industry or this profession specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think having the ability to ask those questions that I couldn't ask to, a higher up, a senior exec, it was like, I just got to ask somebody who's going to keep it real with me. And over time, a lot of stuff that I was asking about, I started to see it play out. And I was like, oh, I got to continue to learn. So whatever room I'm going into, just know that I still don't look old, despite being 20 years in the game. I don't look old. So that's going for me. And there used to be a thing about, I was young talking to people who were twice or three times. It was a weird dynamic of, I'm talking to somebody who's about to retire. And I'm like, hey, this is what you should do. And what do you know, kid? You haven't lived through downturns. I read about them. I took tests. And so I think getting through those experiences early on helped me to just continue to just build. And what somebody told me, it said, man, if you walk into a room and you don't feel confident, they're going to sniff it out. Even if you think you're putting on a good show, something about your energy of how you came in, your manner, something's going to tip them off to where they're not going to open up and you're not going to have the engagement that you expected. And it is, doing the reps is also what helped me build the confidence. Like I started out my career cold calling. It's horrible. So I don't even care. Somebody hanging up on me is like, great, not you today. And I say not today because I clearly could call you back in a month and like, hey, they don't even know who you are because they just hung up on you. You're like, hey, had a question, So you refine your skill because you got to take a few lumps. And every lump that I've taken, I'm like, all right, Jasper, what did I do in that situation? What were the things that I could control? And I think over time with the reps, and then continue to surround myself with people who've been doing it for a while, just taking those elements of what they do that I liked, discarding the rest. And then I've slowly been saying, you know what, I will always stay true to this, but I like elements of that and that and that and that. And then, 20 years later, you're like, and I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm back in school. Like I'm always thinking about what's the next designation. So it never really stops. And I think that's what keeps me vibrant mentally, which also helps me to have that confidence no matter where I go.
Yeah, I agree with you so much there because I had someone in my life who really talked about you're always doing something, you're always learning something new, you're always taking another class. I'm confident, I'm comfortable where I'm at. And I'm like, that's great. You can be happy where you are.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep growing and I'm going to keep learning. Right.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little about kind of you as the Jasper husband, father. You and I talked about your daughter recently. She's a fellow Tauran and she'll be 4 in May. When she's old enough to understand what you do, what do you hope she'll say her dad stood for?
I want her to understand that I didn't cheat any opportunity that was presented to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I went for it. I also want her to understand that I have helped a lot of people get through some very challenging times in their life. Right. Because it's not all about the money with what we do.
Yep.
It's this humanistic side. And then there's just the technical, the money side. And so it's like, I want her to understand that I am a human. I am flawed, but I'm a work in progress, like all of the people that I've helped.
Mm-hmm.
I want her to understand that she can ask me any question and I will answer it truthfully. Like I have nothing to hide. And I think I will try to continue to lead such a life. And so she can see it. And then when she asks that question, she'll get that confirmation. Like, oh, okay, I saw my dad doing this and now I understand it. And I've taken her to some meetings now. She's been on Zooms, but like I want her to see me in my element. So that way it's like, this is what your daddy does.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for a while. And she has a lot of things. Her financial plan was set at 3 months old. Like it just took us a little while. Like once she came out, talked to the wife, I was like, here's what we're about to do. And I've written about it. I do an article every year about her financial plan because I want to encourage people to not wait.
Yeah.
Everybody gets the article. The first one I wrote is called The 18-Year Head Start. every parent gets it. And some parents started before, some start right after the child is born, some wait a little while, and then the majority of people, the clients, well, my child's in high school, what are we going to do about college? You're just
thinking about this. Yeah.
College just popped up. Like, I knew I was going to school before I got popped out. So if my parents if my parents could do it, I'm like, what are y'all talking about?
Right.
We don't have it. We don't know what they will be when they grow up. But please put something aside.
Right.
For that future of that child.
Right. Hey, I have a handful of rapid fire lightning round questions for you. So
let's do it.
A money belief you had to unlearn.
Oh, a money belief. Damn.
I try.
That rich and wealthy people are the smartest people on the earth.
Mm.
That was a hard one because you only see a lot, and when you meet one, you're like, but you're like, it's like, yeah, I got a chance if you could do that,
right?
And I think that's also, I had to unlearn that, man. Just it's not everything is not what it seems. I had to unlearn that. When you see real wealth, you're like, life ain't that hard as we make it out to be.
One habit that builds wealth faster than people think.
Having a money team.
Having your own board, having your own board of directors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most underrated financial move for young families. I think you probably just covered it earlier.
I'm gonna say life insurance for sure. People know to save money. People start their 401ks generally when they first get the job. Something about insurance, and I don't know where it went, where in the history it went left, but people they don't sign up for it as a benefit through their job, and then it's like, oh, now that I need it, you're old and you're not healthy. That is it's still one of the most understood products in the market, despite what we hear and see, and people still don't do it. It's weird to me, but I understand that there's just this level of education that is missing. And I mean, from a lot of people's plans, they just haven't even thought about if your time is cut short, what happens?
Yeah. It's a conversation that we both have with clients pretty regularly. A book, podcast, or maybe a mentor that changed your thinking.
Why should white guys have all the fun? Book changed my life.
Yeah.
I wish he was still alive. Like, that was one of those, if he was on a speaking tour, I would have paid to see him speak. Reginald Lewis is his name. Reading that book is why I'm still a financial planner. It's also one of the reasons why I didn't quit. Although I wanted to quit, like, that dude was on another level. Like, how he was like, I'm going to go do this.
Right.
Some of y'all ain't gonna like it. And like, he was cocky, he was confident, but he knew his stuff.
I'm going to touch on a little touchy subject. Your wife's a realtor.
Yep.
You're both go-getters. You're both in this space where you've got to work to create your abundance every day. It's not automatically
correct
arriving in your bank account on Thursday night. How does that manage the dynamic, and with a almost 4-year-old?
We drink a hot toddy in the morning, baby. Let me take a sip. This is just tea. No, so it is challenging. And so we talked about that even before we got married. We both have been corporate warriors, and it's great, but the life that I wanted to live just wasn't aligned with the corporate model. It's nice, right? I enjoyed it. But the wealthiest people are entrepreneurs.
Yep.
And one of those entrepreneurs just so happens to be my father. So I don't know how to stay. And this was one of my issues when I've had jobs, I would say or do something that either put me on the hit list of getting fired or I was quote unquote causing a disturbance or trouble. But I was just curious about like why things were happening or not happening. And I would challenge the top person. Like, I'm not going to my manager, Herb. I was like, who's the top in this pillar of the company?
Right.
And they're like, who is this little dude? I got questions, man. And so for me, my example was my father. And he had 3 kids. And he came up in a time where he dealt with a lot more, I'll say racism in his North Carolina racism, being a brother and a physician in the 80s. And so he laughs at all of my stories. He's like, let me tell you a story. I'm like, dude. He's like, look, man, you got to have thick skin if you're gonna go this route. I ain't always have it, but having a father, having these mentors, like people like you, I've been through it. Yeah, it happened. Whatever. Like for y'all to brush it off, it's like, how y'all deal with that? And now I have a wife who's also, so we have a lot of discussions, we have a lot of discussions about how we have to move as a unit, how we want to raise our daughter, what we will and won't go after in terms of opportunities. I think family is super important. People talk about it, but we're living it. Like we take time off. We go to North Carolina a couple times a year. But when we in that mode, you're not going to see us.
So I'm going to bring up something that you told me recently. You and your wife actually have a semi-annual meeting, right?
Ooh, quarterly.
I wasn't sure if it's quarterly or semi-annually.
And so it's 2. Quarterly, we do a quarterly financial meeting, talk about all the money. We do a balance sheet. We look at our family budget. It's just a conversation. And it's easy, Herb. It's easy because when she met me, I told her I do this quarterly thing by myself. I will invite you in when you're ready to join me. Took her a little while. She became a fan. Now she leads it. Hey, got to schedule our meeting, right? We sure do. And then annually, we do our annual planning session or strategy session. We just talk about, in addition to the finances, the travel, the leisure, the professional things, and there is not a topic that is not discussed. I'd recommend that to any couple. If you're not scheduling time to talk with your partner, chances are something gonna happen. I don't know what that something is.
Let me get you to repeat that. Let me get you to repeat that so that my audience hears it, because you've been married how many years?
It'll be 5 years next year.
Right, you're young in this marriage.
Almost 5. I ain't even made the 5. Right.
And so what do you do? Quarterly
financial meeting, strategy session, and then we do an end of the year, pre next year session on our entire life, and every topic is on there. Your health, your mental, like we go through everything. That's and awesome. But I think as in a healthy relationship, if you can't be 100% transparent,
yep,
something's up. Yep. And I've been my wife is like, you said what? I mean, we go at it, man. She's spicy. I love her, man, because we have similar values, which is why it works. Right. And so we value having some freedom, some autonomy, but we also know that with the freedom that we desire, we had those rough patches where it's like, I can't do it. Like literally right before I hopped on this, she's prepping her property today. Like we gonna go, but here's what we do. We do take breaks. We go to comedy shows, we go to concerts, and for a long time we weren't doing a lot of that. And I said, ooh, we're not having fun together, like without the kid. And I think a lot of couples, you get caught in that just work, pause. I will find a babysitter for the baby. Yo, we gotta go hang out. And we may just stay at the house and watch a movie. That is how you keep it going, is that we have this time apart where we're grinding and working. We have our time together. We have our time with our daughter. And yes, I'm still new to this. I ain't even made it to 5 years. We're close, right? Close.
You're close. Yeah.
5 is a hurdle, and then 10. And I mean, I'm so new to this, and we're continuing to figure out how do we keep working together as a couple, as opposed to Jasper's gonna do his thing, you do your thing. I want her to always be a part of any major success. She's the first one, like, and I got one yesterday, booked a speaking. I'm like, yo, I got it. Bet. And now she's like, I guess I'm going with you. Sounds like a family trip. So it's and I do the same for her. She's like, I got this conference in DC. Absolutely, husband is coming. Like, so it is, we can enjoy each other in all of our successes. And we're also there when we have those failures. It's like, all right, what happened? And she's heard me lose a deal. And I was pissed. I hung up the phone. I was like, I'm pissed. And she was like, he won't for you. I said, you're right.
Right. So tell me, hashtag build wealth. What's next? What's next for build wealth?
Next is, I think next for me is getting better penetration into larger organizations. And one of those being like school districts. And I just got my first one.
Yeah.
We're going to start it soon. And when I tell you, this has been one of those like long-term, I'm going to get one day. One day is happening next month. And it's I have been waiting for this day, because when you look at states and their mandates or lack thereof of financial literacy education, it is California has a very bad grade. Some states have mandates at the high school level, but we're going through the school process now, thinking about where my daughter's going to go for kindergarten. We're doing another year of preschool. And so I've been challenging some of these. We're looking at private, public, and the private schools are fun. When you go on the tour, they talk about all the things they're going to do for your kid. I mean, the language immersion, the talking about current. I mean, it's wonderful, Herb. My question to them has been, so where does financial literacy fall into your curriculum? That's where I'm going, Herb. And it only happened because we were at one of these tours, and it started bubbling up in me during a panel when again, it's a nice show. The schools are phenomenal, but I'm never hearing what's actually going to prepare them for real life so they can speak another language. That's great. They're going to that country. They're going to be like what? I know language immersion is important. I get that. I understand math and science and art. I get all of that. So we're going to have just more smart people who are clueless about their finances, who can't talk about money, who are unbanked, who don't understand credit. Like, my daughter's going to understand credit and her bank account and investment account before most kids. But that's becoming the standard for the Smiths. But the Build Wealth movement, we're going down this education route. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Awesome. All right. So this is my fun. I'm a big cartoon person.
Yeah. I ain't ready, but go ahead. Go ahead.
If you had to describe like any cartoon character that describes who Jasper Smith is, which cartoon character is it? You can go as far back or today, but who is it and why?
Cartoons. Man, I haven't watched cartoons in so long.
Did you have a favorite?
I watched all of them, all the Looney Tunes and I watched all the things. Cartoons. All right, this is me in one fact. I watch the Tasmanian Devil, and I'll tell you why. I'm very high energy, and luckily I've been able to pour it into my career, but like I exercise, like I'm very active, and my wife is always like, why can't you sit down? Like it's not possible.
Right.
And as crazy as Taz was, like, he's a good dude, good heart. He was crazy. And I feel like I have that element of like, I can get a little crazy, but most people never see that side of me. But it's inside of me to be spinning around and going and moving, because I don't know how to sit down, man. It's impossible for me to just sit and do nothing. So I'll go with Taz.
All right.
I'll go with Taz.
This is where we bond. Okay. Both of us are Taz. So 2 questions. Where should people follow you, and how should they engage if they wanted to learn more from #BuildWealth besides #BuildWealth?
Yeah, just so they can go to the buildwealthmovement.com is where you can find me. And if you wanted to connect, there's a contact us section at the bottom. I always encourage people, if you just want to have a conversation, go there. You're not obligated to ever work with me, but just if you got questions, I'm willing to give you those answers. Another one, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, so I'm Jasper Smith, and you also will see Mr. Build Wealth, because I'm on the internet, just so you know. But on if you reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn, I was fortunate enough to do a LinkedIn learning course around personal finance. Any new connection that I have, I send it to them. I just want to get your feedback on, was it valuable? Like, literally, I send any new connection, whether it's sales, I don't care who they are. I'm like, except, hey, check out my class. I just want to know, is what I produced a couple of years ago, is it good?
Yeah.
And if it's not, tell me it's not. But I'm always trying to give as much as I can, because it usually costs money to work with me. So like, I love, take the free stuff. If you can figure it out, by all means. If you need a little help, I'm always here to support you, because I think in the perfect world, there's always a little bit that you can do by yourself. And if you couple that with working with a professional or 2 or 3, or building that money team, that's the ultimate of how you put yourself in the best position to succeed financially. Right. A little bit of you with some professional help, that's the secret sauce to being financially independent, financially free, whatever you want to call it. But it's a combination of the two. Nobody gets to where they are by themselves. And yes, there are people who are ready to help. I'm just one of thousands of people who, if you're willing, I'm here for you.
And it's always going to be straight up. See, my producer says to me all the time, don't forget to say like, subscribe, and stay tuned, right? And I need to do that in the beginning. I need to do it in the middle. I need to do it at the end.
Yeah, you do, podcast, right? It sounds crazy, but I listen to so many podcasts, and now it's just like, yeah, they're gonna say follow, like, subscribe. I rarely click the button, except for the ones that I actually like and want to support. But it's just like advertise. I gotta constantly say it. Although we know we love you, Herb. Hey, I need followers. I need more That's people. Right. I need this to show up in the algorithm. So yes, please follow.
Well, folks, hey, that's a wrap. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more real, raw talk, or more raw, real financial talk in the sandbox. Jasper, hey man, it's been great having you on the show.
Absolutely, I appreciate you, man.